All right, everyone. Happy Friday. It's another Q&A with Alan and Marshall. I'm Marshall Atkinson.
I'm Alan Howe with Easy Way.
And today we have a special guest, Josh Carruth with Printing United's here. How you doing today, Josh?
Doing well, fellas. How are y'all? Happy Friday.
Oh, man. It's a happy Friday. So,
yes.
So
it's a busy Friday for us here, but
my son is coming home from college today. This is his first trip home.
Oh.
Mama's happy.
Almost halfway through the year, right?
She's in a baking frenzy. I know she's doing Rice Krispie treats and cookies, and I saw a box of brownie mix on the counter when I was making my coffee this morning. So,
good weekend.
And that's your movie buddy too, Marshall. You and him were like movie buffs always.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's any movies coming out, but whatever. But so anyway, I'm so happy that you're here, Josh, and we get to talk all things Printing United.
Yep.
And just before we get into that, why don't you just, if somebody hasn't met you before, just introduce yourself a little bit and let everybody know who you are and what you're all about.
Yeah, so my name is Josh Carruth. I am the managing director of the decorated apparel community for the Printing United Alliance. A little bit about me and my background. I've been producing events professionally for the last 20 years in several different markets or communities, I guess you would call. Started a little further down the retail chain with kind of the retail side at a show called Surf Expo, which was kind of one step further down the chain. And then about 7 years ago, came into contact with this community and just absolutely love it. And then about a year ago, I had an opportunity to join Printing United Alliance and kind of what they're trying to do for the print industry as a whole. And I found it ironically fascinating, actually, from a college course. And if we get into it, I don't want to get into the weeds early, but it was actually a connection to a college course I took and an idea that I was like, yes.
What college course was that?
Well, it was in the business courses. It wasn't the capstone course, but it was one of the topics was Convergence Theory. If you're familiar with Convergence Theory, which is this idea that if you take like technologies and such and put them in proximity next to each other, that ideation times decrease, right? Thereby speeding up the system. The inherent problem or the inherent challenge, I'd say it's more of a challenge than a problem, comes with navigating cultural differences between those communities. So apply that to the print industry, where there is a lot of similarity and a world of difference at the same time. But we see things. DTF is a perfect example.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's been around for years. We've only been talking about it for a couple. So it happens naturally in nature. It's a natural thing. And the concept grabbed me, and that's kind of what the Alliance is trying to do. If anybody's not familiar with what Printing United Alliance is, it was built on the legacy SGIA platform, which, as you two know, as members of the Academy, was built on the technical screen printing foundation.
Absolutely.
And so inherently, apparel decoration is a cornerstone of the community. And as things were evolving and changing, it became time to ensure that community always has a home here and didn't get lost. And that was the opportunity that I had to come and help try to do.
And that was the best thing. I think when I heard, of course, Josh, when you went there, you and I had the conversation, because as much as SGIA Printing United Alliance was growing, we were feeling a little lost, and you were almost like that bright star, but I think you went into a hornet's nest you didn't realize, but we all agreed you being there and the team you have was such a positive thing. And, Marshall, aside from the Academy, and we want to say hey to our two new members. We can't say who they are now. The Academy knows, so we do have two new members.
Yeah, I can't wait for the big reveal.
Yep. So, but you know what? The fact that Printing United Alliance brought you and you have a team of people there, that's exciting.
Yeah, we have a
left
killer
off
squad.
about it more.
We killer squad, and Cassandra Green has been amazing. If you guys aren't familiar with her, she's our editor.
Used to be the publisher when I would write from MBM. She was the publisher I dealt with. I worked with you at your previous thing. Marshall and I did. There's a group of people there that we all knew. It's like, wow, they've kind of put together the dream team.
Yeah, and there were some that were even there. I don't know if you guys know who Chip Danby is, but he kind of runs the promo marketing side of things. I love me some Chip Danby.
You know him, Marshall? I don't deal in promo as much.
I know Chip. Yep.
Yeah, he's another one, and so it's been great to collaborate with everybody, and kind of just getting started. It was a year ago. This is our first show. Everybody's shaking off the cobwebs of we're not even going to talk about the last few years, but everybody knows that live events has not had a great time the last few years. It's our first time back, and it's actually 2 weeks from now, the 19th to the 21st. Like we're in full show mode. I'm excited about what we're seeing. I'm excited about what we have. But to get back to kind of what you were saying in the alliance is I think that, and to put it succinctly, our goal is to provide a home for everything under one roof. If you can put ink on it, you can find it at this show. Yeah. And definitely apparel decoration should occupy 20% of that space as a total. And we're talking up there with the household names, you know what I mean? The HPs and all the people that dabble in our community and theirs, like the Mamakis and the Epsons and so on and so forth. I mean, it's a very complex.
I went over that the last SGI I was at, the last time they had it. I remember going over into the packaging side, and as someone I know, Marshall, you're like this. We like to see new markets, new stuff, and all that. Yeah. And I literally was over there. And I ran into someone from, it was more from the electronics end or graphic printing side. And where they're talking, he goes, "So Alan, what is this machine doing?" And I just I have no idea. I'm like, so I'm over there like learning. What is
tell me what functional?
Yeah,
I think I'm learning too. So since I've been here, that's been like the eye-opening. Oh my god!
It was on the packaging side. I go, it's printing that. I'm not sure how, why, at all. And it was awesome just learning and stuff like that. It was so cool.
Well, you don't realize how much stuff is actually printed. People think like, print is dying, and it's like, open your eyes. You drive down the road from your speedometer to the road sign. All of that's printed everywhere you go. Like it's literally
much of that is screen printing. But I was talking about stuff that it wasn't screen printed over in the packaging side, where I'm like, holy smoke! Now what markets can flip flop through there? So it was so cool.
Yeah. So, hey, before we get too far down the road, I want to make sure that we say hello to some folks. And we always like to do that. So,
Marshall, we also want to say hi to everybody, but make sure you are sharing this.
Yes.
But also tell us where you're from and, who you are. I see some people on here already that I don't think you've been on it before. Tell us where you're located and where you're from.
Yeah, and also Josh is here to answer your questions. So, if you've got a question or a comment about the show or what hotel to stay in or whatever, he's the guy that can probably help you with that. So leave your comments, suggestions, questions. He's here for a reason, and we have him on here to help guide everybody into what to do, right? So please throw that in there. So let's start off with saying hey to Richard. And greetings from Michigan. Good seeing you, Richard. And Charles is here from New Mexico.
Charles, are you coming to Printing United? Did we ask this last week?
What?
Charles, are you coming to Printing United? I mean, it's in Vegas. It's not far from you. So.
Well, I think Fort Worth was closer, and he didn't go to that show. So.
Yeah, but I think because he was going to come to Printing United. That's why I first
that's the reason? Okay.
Yeah.
And anyway, so Ghost is here from Sweden as usual. How you doing, buddy?
Ghost needs to come to Printing United. That would be so much fun.
That would. Chris is here from Saskatchewan.
Alberta.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Alberta. And Keith is here, Texas.
Keith is going to call me today. She texted me last night while I was driving. So, yeah.
Right. Dave's here from Wisconsin. Good to see you, Dave.
Chicago.
Oh, Chicago. Sorry. Victoria. Don't know Victoria, so let us know where you're from, Victoria. Very excited for Expo.
Yep.
This is great. Kyle Whiteley's here. This is awesome.
And he says
watching from LinkedIn. That's great.
Yep. And Kyle's from California. He posted further down.
Right. how do you match Pantone colors on a printer easily?
You know what? On a digital printer or screen printing?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Give us the clue. I like using a color spectrometer as a way to dial in your color. That's a whole huge conversation.
Yep.
So Kyle's from California. That's great.
Cool.
Los Angeles. It's time for my afternoon coffee with Alan and Marshall, New Bedford, Mass.
How you doing, Shane? Yeah.
Right,
So,
Shane Mackey, right?
Shane Mackey, yep.
Yeah, right. Bruce is here from Sky Harbor. Good to see you, Bruce.
Hey, Bruce.
Marshall's right, Saskatchewan. There you go. How about that? Hey, I'm only right.
You put it here. It's all on the screen.
You know what? When in doubt, go with Marshall's right. You'll never steal. You're wrong. So.
Brian's here, so good morning from Missouri.
Yeah.
And Gavin's here. Hey, Alan, Marshall, and Josh. Good to see you, Gavin.
Gavin, where are you living at now? I mean,
he lives in Mexico, dude. Like Cancun.
Now, well, he was in Florida, and then he's
living the dream in Mexico, right?
Yep.
So
you need SEPs or anything like that, he's your man.
Although I see him everywhere. Hey, are you going to be in Vegas for Printing United, Gavin? You should. If not sure what you're doing, we'll love to see you there. And then Tanya's here. Good to see you. All right. And look, Dan's here. Pop, I'm in. All right. Awesome. Hey, thanks, everyone. We appreciate you tuning in. And if you haven't left a message or said hello, please do that. And so we got to pay some bills. Yes, Gavin's going to Vegas. Woo! All right. So let's pay some bills and run our commercial, and we'll be right back with all things GSG. So
absolutely.
Where is that movie?
I don't know.
GSG, the combination of over half a century of knowledge with industry-leading technology and the customer at the center of everything that we do. Graphic Solutions Group is a powerhouse distributor of traditional screen, sign, wide format digital printing, embroidery, and textile decorating. We are committed to our customers, providing support, educational, and consulting services. Your success is our success. We've seen these industries grow and change in our 70 years. One thing never changes: GSG's dedication providing the best products and services available. We've been around, we'll be around, from the highs and the lows, standing right here with you. GSG, the right products, right away.
All right, we're back.
Great commercial.
So, couple things. Dr. Kitson's here. Good to see you, Greg.
I talked to Greg this week. Just called him. I was thinking of him, and yeah.
Hey, Greg.
Yeah, and Kyle has he answered our question. So very cool. He does a lot of custom manufactured signage with his new company. But send me contact info for your printing services. I outsource that, but my vendors struggle with Pantone Matching. I don't print. I'm a consultant, and Alan sells
chemicals.
Yeah. So that's not what we do.
But we know a lot of printers.
We know a lot of folks. So if you want some extra stuff, you can email me at marshall@marshallatkinson.com. And here's Alan's address, ahow@easyway.com.
And Kyle, you're going to be in Vegas. Make sure you look us up. Let's meet up. And, the expo is a great place to network and find these people too.
So Pantone Matching is a skill, and your printers are struggling with that. That means they don't have that skill. That doesn't mean that other printers don't possess that skill. So that's something that you should be looking out for. And I'm not sure exactly, what you're doing or whatever, especially with the signage and stuff, but that's something that I think you can find. Josh, where can they find people like that?
Printing United Alliance. We actually have subject matter experts in color and a color conference.
That's right.
And they actually if it's a digital print, you're going to want to make sure these printers especially are G7 certified.
That's
And
right.
there is a certification for that. I know Mike Ruff.
You guys are taking the words out of my mouth. I mean, come on, this is great. It's like you know,
This
this.
is what we do, man. This is what we do.
Yeah,
man.
Mike Ruff is the man.
Mike Ruff is the man. Another guy we're honored to be in the academy with, and he does a lot of consulting G7. So make sure you look us up. We can connect, and we'd love to connect, and that's the way to do it. Where to do it at. So
yeah. And absolutely, Kyle, you're welcome to reach out to me too. It's Josh Carruth at printing.org, and I can absolutely help you out with give you some resources and some information.
Yep. So couple more comments here real quick. So Lee's here, long-time listener, first-time commenter. Looking forward to seeing you guys in Vegas. Can't wait.
Kiwo has coming out. We're going to give them a little plug because they're a GSG vendor. They're coming out with their new laser to screen.
Kiwo's got a laser to screen. That's interesting.
It will be debuted there. Lee, am I correct? Correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll be there, and I know that'll be available through GSG. Great. So make sure if you're looking to laser to screen, go see Lee. He knows it all on it.
All right, that's awesome.
I can't wait to see it. That's one of the things I'm going to be one of the first things I'm going to be looking at.
Yeah, Cindy says good morning. I got to see her and her entire family at the Fort Worth show.
Look what she posted a couple down.
Oh, did she? Oh, yeah. Hey, Marshall actually knew who I was this year. Yeah. So the first time I met you, you meet in person, all you see is her photos, so it's hard to match up. So,
but I recognized her right away first time I met her. So
yeah, I know you're better than me. I know.
No, actually, I saw her badge coming down the aisle, so I realized it.
Oh, okay. Greg says you're looking very distinguished, Josh.
Thanks, Greg. I miss you, man.
Greg knew you from your previous, and Greg and I served on Printing United. Greg chaired the Garment Decorators Committee. He's the one that got me involved, so always honored.
Great.
Always appreciative of Greg. He took, when I walked in and knew absolutely nothing, and I still know absolutely nothing, just to be straight. Greg always took the time to explain things to me, so I'll be forever grateful to you, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Here's a good comment for you, Kyle. For a wide format printer, look up Mark Rugen and take some classes from him. He took a class with him at Printing United Vegas a few years ago, and he's very knowledgeable. He does a lot of online classes with Muto. So look that guy up. And Hurley says one of your EasyWay reps reached out to about silicone cleaning chemicals to try it, Alan. Think you've had anything to do with that?
I'm not sure which EasyWay rep was that up there in Canada. And it was probably someone from corporate. Was at the Chris was at the 722.
Yeah. Kyle says awesome. Lee says just correct. It's the Kiwa LX200V. Also check out the new Lusher CS system.
Awesome. And that's a Lusher computer screen.
I met only a very small part of her family. So anyway.
Well, she has 15 kids?
I don't know.
A bunch.
I don't know. But she had 2 of her daughters with her. So, all right. So let's get back to the topic on hand, Printing United. So why don't you give us just the basics? When is it? Where is it? How do they get registered? What should they be looking for? Is there where can you go to see who's actually exhibiting? What are some of the booths that they're going to see? Give us all that stuff, Josh.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'll start with the deets right on the RSVP that would come in the mail. Right. It's October 19th to 21st at the Las Vegas Convention Center in Las Vegas. So we actually are in 2 halls this year. So we're approaching 1 million gross square feet of exhibits between the 2 halls. So it's a massive, massive show. We are actually up from 2019. So 2019 was the start of Printing United, kind of when it was debuted, the first time things came together like that concept. And we're actually up in square footage. So there's lots to see. Apparel is actually going to be in the central hall just for all your apparel decorators. If you're a printer, you can register at printing.org. You can find the Printing United Expo under events and go to the website or printingunited.com. And Apparel 100 will comp that registration fee for any of you printers out there.
What was that again?
Apparel 100.
Okay, and now you got a free pass in, so there's no excuses.
Yeah. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying that, but it's all right because it's too late now. It's in the wind.
Welcome to the club. We're in trouble all the time. So
yeah, it happens. No, I'm excited about it because what you were saying, Marshall, is some of the folks who are going to be there.
just wrote it down.
Put it in writing for me. You'll see a lot of the folks, if you've been before, that you'll recognize a lot of the heavy equipment and a lot of machinery. But this year we've got a good contingency of actual blank apparel on the floor too. So we've got something like 20 blank distributors, all the way to roll fabric providers for the sublimators, the cut sew, and the signage and digital textile side of things. We're all kind of neighbored up together in a hall with graphic and wide format, digital textiles, promo, apparel. We're kind of gathered together just to kind of make it a little bit easier on the attendee experience. And then you get a chance to go kind of over to the North Hall and look at mailing and packaging and commercial and things like that, as needed, just like you said earlier, Alan, to explore. Yeah. But yeah, it's the usual suspects, I would say. It's all the top leading. GSG has a large presence there, as well as M&R and some of the blank folks, Deltas, Bella Canvases, Next Levels, and also like the Alpha Broders and Sanmars, so the distributors are there too. So I think we have a good representative thing of the market. It's something by about 100 suppliers in total specific to this market. And again, that's not counting the Rolands and the Mamakis and the Epsons and the Brothers. Those are the household juggernaut names. They have some massive booths where obviously a portion of them are dedicated to our community. And we've got some special events for decorators this year. As we took a bit of a different approach in 2019, we did some data studies, some surveying, exit surveys, and kind of looked at attendance. And we pulled education out of the classroom this year and put it onto the floor. And we'll see if it works. It's what people said they wanted, so we'll try it. If it's not, we'll go back the other way. But for this year, we took an approach and developed a hands-on, tactile learning. It's a macro factory. I'm not going to call it a micro factory because literally everything but wide format direct to fabric is being showcased. And the idea is to see each technology at a short run to commercial scale. So we've got desktop DTG to the Cornete Atlas sitting right there, right? Auto screen, manual screen. We have wide format die sub, and we have medium format and tabletop die sub. We'll actually be making clothes on site. We partner with LA Apparel, who is also there. And so we'll actually be printing out shirts. You'll see them go from blank roll fabric to sewn together on the other end, and you can take one home, all for a good cause. We've partnered with another nonprofit called US Vets. And if you're not familiar with them, look them up. They're an amazing organization. Yep. And actually, one of our executives saw an article last year around Veterans Day, and it was, I believe it was an ASI article actually, and it said, it profiled this company and that their primary revenue generator was apparel, right? Like a celebrity wore one of their hats on Instagram, and all of a sudden, boom, now they have this store built out. And we were like, we've got to be able to help this. Nonprofits helping nonprofits. We actually have a nonprofit like media brand. So it's like, this is a natural, we got to get together. And they've been amazing. They are a leading organization getting homeless vets off the streets and back into the workforce. So they work with the Department of Labor and Veteran Affairs, doing their pilot housing. It's just a phenomenal organization. So we will be printing their logo on finished products, and everything that the attendees don't take, we're giving back to US Vets to sell on their website and hopefully raise some funds to continue their cause.
That's great. I love that.
Awesome.
I love that.
Yeah.
It really was awesome. It was just, it took over the course of a year, it came together, and it's just like, I don't know, it just feels good. It's just a good thing. And so that's the hands-on, right? That's the idea. In this space as a cafe, because we know we like to network and we needed a bar. We have a podcast booth that hopefully you two will be using it for some special things.
We will be.
But I'll let you talk about that. I don't want to ruin it. And we have, just kind of this whole, like I said, macro factory set up, and it's a kind of a hub for apparel at the show. And then just a few feet away, we built a stage where we can present content. So we have both the content aspect and the, get ink under your nails aspect, depending on which you prefer, or both. with some amazing lineup of sessions. I don't know if you guys know who Stakes Manufacturing is, but they do some awesome work with disability inclusion.
Yep, they're in East Lake, Ohio.
Yep, and Jed has put together a C-suite panel of competitors and printers, and supplier competitors and printer competitors, to talk about what they're doing in the industry. It's going to be phenomenal. We're going to have two probably of the largest shops in the country sit down and talk about the evolution of screen and digital. One screen printer, one large digital printer, and some software, and talk about what's going on.
Who are they?
So it's Rock US. So Ross Hunter is actually going to be the presenter, right? And it's Josh Merrill of Liquid Graphics. It's Jed Safaret, and it's Printforia. So they'll have a 2-part session over 2 days, kind of just discussing the ever-changing relationship between screen and digital. I think
Liquid
one of our
huge company, man.
Yeah, they're big. So I'm really excited about it. And, Stalls and Rock and Corneat and Allmade and the Centium Capital have come together to make this area happen. And I'm very grateful to them. But it was kind of a glimmer in our eye, and we partnered with Made Lab to kind of approach this and come at it. So they were able to bring their eye and their expertise, because it's not a secret. I'm not a printer. I know this community. I want to help this community, but it needs to be authentic, and it can't just be something that we come up with on our own. So working with those, I think we see the industry a lot in the same way, just on who all is included in this community, and how big it actually is, and how many people actually touch this community. And that brings a lot of opportunity with it. And then to cap it all off, our chief economist, Andy Paparosi, has been doing some studies over the summer. We did a wages and benefits study, and we are currently still doing a state of the decorated industry, apparel industry survey. And so he is going to package all this and pair it with some global economic trends. I don't know if you guys have seen that in the news recently. There's some stuff going on in the economy, just to give us a general outlook, and that'll be kind of our crowning jewel on Friday afternoon after 3 days of awesome sessions. So I'm really excited to see that, and he has not given me a sneak peek of it yet, and I'm really excited to see kind of what he has to say. It'll be great for decorators to be able to kind of see where they stand, where their business is, what they're seeing averages are, given some benchmarks and things like that. We haven't had that in quite some time, and I think it's something people are looking for, and they need just a little bit of direction, a little some kind of a North Star to not just necessarily follow, but to give some validation to what they're doing.
We want some comprehension, right? What's going on?
Exactly right.
There's a couple things that I'm really interested in. First is, there's an after party on Wednesday at Stoked on Printing, one of my good friends, Kevin and Shane. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. So looking forward to that. And then you have one of your speakers is Joe Polizzi, who is a huge content marketing guru, and he's doing a whole speech on content and being relevant and stuff. And so I actually went to his new event, which is the Content Expo that was here in Phoenix.
You were telling me about that,
That's April, and it was phenomenal. And
we're stoked to have him.
Yep. So very interested in hearing what he has to say.
And that what I was just talking about was just for apparel. When what you just brought up, we actually have a whole nother keynote session room planned for kind of larger scale conversations. And it's not, I think the way it was put best to me was, don't think necessarily inspirational, think informational. That's, the people that are coming to tie their conversations directly back to print, right? That's why it's meaningful. That's why it matters.
Yeah. Great. Hey, we got some comments. Let's get them going here. So Hurley says it was Agnes.
No. Wasn't Agnes, because we don't have an Agnes working for us.
So
unless there's a distributor.
Yeah. Greg says show floor education sound bites of specific tech are very productive use of limited expo time.
Mm-hmm.
Love that comment. Sean says good afternoon.
Hey, Sean from Georgia.
Ray's here. By the way, Ray, I think Josh is coming after you for the beard. He's
He
coming after
inspired
you.
me. Ray actually donated his time and was a judge at Skillsusa this year. So thank you, Ray, at Avient, man. We could not have done it without you.
Yeah. So I don't know. Ray's got the best beard in the industry.
Yeah, he wins.
He
I mean, amateur hour over here.
Yeah. You, compared to Ray, you look kind of homeless, I think. All right. So here's a good question. So Gosa, who's in Sweden, by the way, is there going to be a live event feed? So you have to excuse his spelling because it's, English isn't his first language. So are you guys doing a live feed on anything?
So Printing United, we're not ourselves, but I do know of some suppliers that are. Actually, I believe M&R is setting up a digital showroom for that reason to kind of launch some products and things like that. So the certain suppliers will be, but no, this year we're all live. We're back in person and ready to, shake hands and fist bump.
I hope in the future that becomes more. And as a show expo, it needs to be. I know, Marshall, you and I have had numerous conversations with some other events about that in places on there about live feed, because there's so much there. And I think for marketing and I wish suppliers would do it more, and manufacturers, because it allows you, one, to create your content, but it also it lets people know, going, here's what's going on. This is the place to be. You're missing it.
Yeah. And and not everybody can go, right? Because of the cost, or they got other things going on, or there's a million reasons why people don't.
Sweden.
And that, you just can't. That doesn't mean that they're not interested, right? And
so we won't have a live feed, but we are capturing all those presentations I mentioned on video, and that will come out through the Apparel list. So it's definitely, a give back to the community. That was an opportunity we weren't going to miss. Putting the panels that people have assembled are phenomenal. We for sure are capturing that, and it will, you'll be able to find it on the Apparel list after the show. But I'm an events person. I can see it. I understand it. But I want to see, feel, touch, network, have some fellowship with folks.
Oh yeah,
that's my
you
drive.
have to be there. You have to be there to get the full experience. But there's always the people who just for one reason or another can't go. So,
but I think it creates for the upcoming of building on there. Every time I watch a live feed, I'm like, on stuff like that, I'm going, God, I should be there.
Yeah.
And that's what it does. It is going, that's the place to be.
No, I completely
even like a live music performance, you can see, name your favorite band, and they do a live feed, and there's 80,000 people there. They're probably having a better time than you are watching from your couch.
Well, they're feeling the music. You're hearing the music, right? That's the difference.
Yeah.
So,
music video did not kill the live concert. It increased it.
Yeah. I was going to make a Buggles reference, if you mind.
Well, that was Music Killed the Radio Star, because that was the first video ever played on MTV.
That's right. Trivia.
And Marshall, you and I actually remember that.
Yeah, thanks. We're old. All right. So Skillsusa was an amazing experience. Thanks, Ray. And then, skip this one. Hurley says, Christina then.
Nope.
Marcia, Agnes is her Instagram, like you know people's Instagram. She said she was helping out the Easy Way booth last weekend and showed Alex my work. There you go.
That is.
So that would have been in Texas, Fort Worth.
She's with Print Mafia. She's just a printer and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, so
I think.
Where are we on time here? So. Let's do our shout out for GSG, since they're our sponsor, and they've got a new pulse out for the fall. And one of the things we wanted to highlight is their Wolflex Rio mixing system. I know Ray's really probably enjoying that. And so I'm a big fan of having a mixing system, especially if you're trying to mix Pantone colors. And Kyle, you were talking about your printers can't mix a Pantone color. Well, this is how you do it. And how you do it is there's a formula, and it's all built by the manufacturer, and it's based on how many grams of ink you need, and then it's how much base, how many grams of pigment, how many grams of whatever. You mix it up, and then you get the Pantone color. Couldn't be any easier.
Yep.
And you can get this from GSG, which is right here on their Pulse magazine. It's brand new. And if you go to gogsg.com, you can get this. It's right on the header. And it's just a fantastic system. And I've used it. You can mix any Pantone color in less than 4 minutes. It's easy. And trust me, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So anyway, and I also want to give GSG a shout out for Printing United. They're going to be at booths C7724 and C7925.
They're going to have all kinds of stuff there. They're going to have M&R equipment running. M&R has a booth. Another thing, you want to see screen printing equipment, and it's a place. Rock, M&R, MHM, all going to be there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can talk to the techs. You can talk to people. I know Lon will be there doing his thing, So it's like one of these things where this is where you go to learn, even if you don't know. I said, don't believe the hyperbole on Facebook. This is where you go and actually see this stuff running, and you can compare things for yourself. And this is how you educate yourself on what's going on. And there's lots of suppliers. There's lots of reasons to walk around. I can't tell you how many printers I know that are going, and everybody's really excited for multiple things, including the on Thursday, the Women in Screen Print Awards that Rock and Screenprinting Magazine are doing. And, Amy, who was just on here a couple weeks ago,
Amy Baker from
she's going to be getting her award for that. So can't wait to see that on Thursday.
Yeah, we had Amy Baker. We've had Adrian Palmer on also from Screenprint Magazine. And,
Yeah, we're stoked to help them and be a place they can do that. They're actually going to use the Future State. Actually, Adrian and I also both sit on the board of Unite together, which if you're not familiar is kind of a movement in the industry for inclusiveness. And we were actually talking about this very subject yesterday on a meeting. So we're excited to have all that, and Unite Together will have a booth there too for anybody who's interested. I think it's just building a playground to do exactly what you said, Marshall. You have to come and you have to investigate for yourself, and you don't be afraid to talk to these to the techs and worry that you're going to get sales pitched. No, most of the people in that booth are there to show you how the equipment works, what the technology can do, and in my experience with this industry, and granted it's only 7 years, I would say by and large, by far, everybody's looking to make smarter customers rather than a quick sale. I think everybody has that forethought, and everybody's looking to the more you know, the better decisions you can make, the longer term customers you're going to have. That seems to be what I feel from most of the supply side. Having done trade shows for 20 years, I can tell you it is not that way in every single market. And so it's really a vibe. It really is. Not to feel
not that way with every manufacturer either, but yeah.
I heard somewhere that only about 10 or 15% of people actually go to trade shows. And and I don't know if that's factual or not, but I know a lot of people don't go to shows, and I think that they're missing out. They're missing out on a lot of things. Do you have any stats on that, Josh? What do you know about that?
About as far as how many people in any given market go to trade events?
Yeah,
I've got no data points on that. I find that number to be low, at least maybe on a regular basis. I feel like everybody's been to a trade show. Like, have you ever been to a trade show in your life? Well, I'm asking the two wrong folks here, but you know what I mean? Like,
I go to like 6 a year, man.
Yeah, I know. So eventually, even before I got into this, I had found my way into an event of some sort, doing something throughout the course of my life. So I find that, probably a low number, but I think everybody needs to experience it, even if you're coming to buy is one reason. That's probably what people would say is the biggest reason they go to an event, to investigate a potential purchase decision and compare everything in one place versus having to look online or, go to a demo center or whatever it might be. Not everybody has that ability. But a very close second has got to be the random connections that you make. If I had a nickel for every time I've heard a story of, well, I was talking to some random person and they had the same problem as me, and that gave me an idea, and now it's the biggest part of my business. I would probably, be living it up in Mexico right now too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'd be with Gavin in Mexico hanging out on the beach, because I've heard it over and over and over again, and it's part of what's endeared me to what I do. Is you walk on that floor and you see, like, how does all this work? Why are all these people here? And then you sit and you listen and you watch and you see what's going on. It's like magic, man. It's insane.
Right.
It's really cool.
So, and for me, I find that number very plausible. I was just this week at a shop in Michigan, automatic, auto reclaim, and everything like that. Never been to a trade show, ever.
Is it proximity, or they just decided they didn't want to? Like, they clearly could go if they wanted, but
they could go if they wanted.
Yeah.
Never. And I hear that more and more.
And I give it a number. I'll call him and invite him to Printing United.
I did. Had no idea what Printing United was.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's because
watch a podcast here. You'll learn.
That's why you're here, Josh. We're trying to solve that very problem right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so many people didn't catch the SGIA, or even didn't know what it was, but then either, or what the amalgamation.
It's not just you. It's every trade show like on there. Yeah, there's a lot of segments on there. No way is that a shot. Anything. No, it's like on all of them. I mean, they're all around. It's the Midwest, no matter how big, small, and all that.
Yeah. So I can't tell you how many people I've met in line for coffee, right? Or I'm sitting next to them, I'm listening to something, and you just stick your hand out and go, "Hey, what's your name?" And and then years later, we're working together. For example, Tom Rowan, how I met him was he took one of my classes when I was my sustainability class, actually, in Impressions a long time ago. And then fast forward to ThreadX, the first one in Palm Springs, and we're sitting there having breakfast on the second day at the table, and it was a really awesome conversation. And it was really about what the industry needed, and that's how Shirt Lab formed, was just that conversation. Yep. And now we're in business partners, right? So it's the fortuitous connections that you meet. And you were talking earlier, Josh, about convergence, right?
Yep.
You like, there's a phrase, I know everybody's heard it before: you must be present to win, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
That's why you show up to things, is you don't know what's going to happen, right? And that's why you go. So
absolutely. And everybody's been saying, if you're going to do one thing, you've got to be the best at it. And so diversification and looking at alternatives, being open-minded.
I disagree with that. You don't have to be the best at it. You have to be the most consistent.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, that would make you the best.
There's plenty of
the best.
You don't have to be the best. You have to be the most consistent in what you're doing, right? And you could argue that what's the best car, right? But I would say that Toyota is the most consistent. That's why they have the biggest sales, right?
Define best. Best could be the most consistent, the most reliable.
Yeah.
What do you need? Yeah. What's your, is it? Do you need a truck? Do you need a, do you need a Toyota Corolla?
Right.
If you're needing to haul gravel and you work on a farm, Toyota Corolla, probably not.
Yeah, right.
F-150, probably.
So we got some really good comments. Let's get them up there. So Greg says, need to have Josh back in the future to talk about Skills USA. I totally agree. Let's do that.
Greg, you missed. We did some Skills USA. We had Kyler Kesh on because I met him at Skills USA when I judge there. For some reason I've been X'd out and never asked again.
I totally would have had you, but you didn't. I totally would have. You would have come next year.
Nobody that ever judged like on there. None of us. Well,
we can talk about skills real quick because we found out about it like 60 days before the contest, and Ray's in Atlanta here with me, which is why
I would have flown down because that was one of the best things. So here's the story. Kyler, I met there. He's from Utah, and he was a student. He won. But, you know, we're not really supposed to talk to the people, to the kids as they're you know, doing their test. Well, I did talk to Kyler because I was judging coding and everything on there. And I thought he was so nervous. His hand is shaking. And I just kind of close and I whispered, I said, stop, back up, breathe. And then he goes, well, I go, you're shaking. He goes, oh no, I always do. I have a tremor in my hand. And I thought he was just nervous. But, you know, Kyler won. He now runs his own business and screen shop in Utah. And the kids he's trained placed this year.
Yeah. This year?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I got to meet them. Man, Alan, I am so tapping you.
So, yeah, like we always went down on our own ticket and stuff. Richard agrees with me. James Orlani helps write the Skills platform originally.
Yeah.
And I understand it was 60 days into it and doing it, but I would so do it again.
Oh man, we could use the support. Yeah. We banded together. We made it happen, and
I heard it was great.
Kids.
So talk about Skills for a second, so we know we've got off.
Yeah, sorry. So Skills USA, if anybody hasn't heard about it, is a state level and national level organization that produces contests for skilled labor, for technical vocational schools, anything. Man, they had jet engines on the floor and like doors doing auto work, and from military and graphics communication was an aspect. Everything, baking, repair, HVAC,
culinary. You get to taste.
Yeah, it was mind blowing. Like it was so incredible, and these kids are so jacked up. They are so serious. Like I would have thought the same thing. Somebody was nervous. They're taking it so seriously, and we set through the contest. So for screen printing, they had to go through all of the steps. Screen exposure. Coating it with emulsion from washout. Registering it, printing, everything, inspecting, quality control. It was a great experience. And I'm so happy that Printing United continued to try to support that as we should, as the association, as an advocate, and make it come together. And like even the suppliers who sent equipment. And now we're building that equipment for future years. We've got a washout tub. We've got the darkroom tent. It's staying there. Skills houses it. But essentially, it's done between post-secondary, and so it's high school and post-secondary school, two competitions that run kind of in concert together, and they take their written exam together and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we kind of didn't know what was going on, and Skills reached out and said, well, there's just not going to be a contest this year, and we were not going to let that happen.
Look how excited Josh has gotten about this. This is just awesome.
I mean, it's
good job, man.
It's cool. What's the biggest resource people can't find? And it's labor.
Yeah.
And this creates. And that's why I had Kyler on. And so amazing.
That's great. Great.
That's so it's just a big part here. I mean, we're an association. It's what we do. We just launched that iLearning Center, and now it's in its infancy now, but we're already talking with subject matter experts inside about how do we continue to grow our community's tracks through these programs, whether it's introduction to printing, right? And then the fork in the road, and you go down apparel or you go down commercial, whatever it is, or if it's color management. You mentioned G7 earlier.
G7, yep.
How can we apply this to the digital color gamuts used within garment decorating? And now that PIA is part of the alliance, that's where G7.
You got to say what PIA is. Most people don't know what it is.
Oh, it's Printing Industries of America, I believe.
Okay,
I'm still learning that one.
And
but I know
said most people, I didn't know what it was.
Okay, so it was another association. They are who developed the G7 certification, and so they are actually part of our organization now, and some super smart people, way smarter than me, who are focused on that. But education has to be something. Workforce development, specifically. One of the keynotes at the show is workforce development, because it's a thing right now.
Good.
And
Hey, we got some great comments. I want to get them through.
We did the screenprinting section. There's also sublimation and stuff. I know Aaron Montgomery and all of them were doing sublimation. It's skills and all that. It's just amazing. And you know the other part, these are not just kids going, I'm learning something. There was a girl there, and afterwards she saw, I think it was me and James Erdelani and Lon Winters, and we were all there in the aisle. We're looking, and she comes up. We knew she there, and she like knew us all. She had like read every article and stuff. She goes, it was like rock stars. Like, oh, these people must get a life. And, you know, it was weird.
These are the future business owners, man.
These are passionate.
Yeah.
This is when Marshall and I and Richard are gone and Ray are gone. These are the people in the industry. One guy said, yeah, he won. He goes, you know, I go, are you going to do this for a living? He says, I have a full ride already to college in engineering. I said, cool. I said, learn everything you can about screen. I go, and it was mechanical engineering. I go, you know, look at every piece of equipment. You know what they all have, all these companies? Engineers. Chemical engineering, go see Ray at Avion. I'm sure he can put you in there. You know,
right.
There. Easy way. We just hired another chemist. You know, let's go.
Right. Hey.
So, yeah.
So, Ray says Rio finishes low cure system. Josh is here. Good seeing you last week, Josh, and your wife. Ghosta says, I got so much info from Shirt Lab Tribe and the live feed that now I know what to ask for when I get new equipment. Thanks all. Thanks, Ghosta. Appreciate you. And thank you for being a member of Shirt Lab Tribe, by the way. That's really awesome.
Yep.
Greg says, textile color matching is so much more than matching the recipe in the bucket. It has to look correct on the garment. Ray Smith is your guy for that subject. Yes.
You know what? And Marshall, color matching too, especially in screen and ink, it is also a cost savers. You are not wasting ink. You are right there following the recipe. Yeah. You need a quart, you're going to make a quart.
Yeah. And by the way, we haven't announced it yet, but Mark Siladonic with GSG is partnering with Shirt Lab next month, and we're going to do a workshop on Pantone color matching for screen printing. So look for it. We were just talking about that the other day. So that's
cool.
Coming up. Ray says, I met Marshall at trade show, late night pizza place in New Orleans, I believe. Nothing happens at late night at trade shows. I'm sorry.
In New Orleans?
Any knowledge of anything.
In New Orleans, late night pizza is code for
that's code for, gosh, we need to get something in our stomachs.
I met Marshall the same thing at a show. We talked on Twitter because we were both speaking. He invited me to a seminar, and it was the first place I met him at.
Yeah, right. Chris says, I'm a Josh
seminar. Yeah.
Best for me may even go as far as master. That's great. Brian says, practice makes progress. The first step of progress is to start. Absolutely. That's the hardest thing, is starting.
Yep.
First step.
Nobody asked me back as a judge at Skills Ohio or the Nationals in Kentucky. Well, that's a shame.
That's on me, Richard, because I had to pull that together, and it happened to be in Atlanta this year. So I tapped the local market with Ray and Nick over at Eternal Designs and Amber Massey to just show up.
And Rich, I think it's in Atlanta now because it's gotten so big. Correct?
It's in Atlanta for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, right. That's a great thing. Yeah. I mean, Josh, when we're done, I'll tell you everybody who, I know all of them are like going, what do we do? Things change. There was, and yeah. But we're glad. But the good part is still going on, and that's the most important part.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We see how passionate people are. All of us can do all kinds of things. No, this was this was for us true giving back to the industry.
So Skills took every room in this section of the Atlanta Conference Center, which is saying something. That's a big place.
And also, let's see, Alan Howe, Ray Smith. Yeah, Ray Smith all day long.
Hurley says, see the passion in your face when you speak about it, Josh. That's great.
Yeah, it's the beard thing with Ray. Who has a better? Alan, Ray, better beard. Go.
Right.
Ray inspired.
Hey, so we got about 6 minutes left, and I want to give you an opportunity to talk about your T-shirt.
Yeah. And everybody, last word, the passion you're seeing here, come to the expo. You're going to see passion of all of us there. This is where we're all together. You think it's good on, we were just talking about on live and live feed. It's always better. The concert's always better live.
you want to see something. Here's the reason to go is when you get all the people like our little crowd and we all go and have wings or go have coffee or whatever. This is the stuff we're talking about. And that's so fun sometimes just to hear about somebody did something. Oh, what'd you do? What was going on? Whatever. And you just sit there, and even if you don't know what they're talking about, you can still nerd out on it. It's really
you can get a Marshall, Alan and Marshall in the wild segment, you know?
Well, and, you know, same thing. I've had people say, I saw you, I saw Marshall, I saw Ray Smith, I saw Richard and Greg and all that. We've all been there, and even you, Josh. And you guys, you know, I want to say something and introduce myself, but you guys were talking. It's like, no, see the passion. We're
just
always
come
talking.
up, man.
We're always talking. Nobody is unapproachable.
And that's why we're there.
Just come do it.
Yeah.
So, Josh, real quick, because we got to end the show here a little bit. What is Apparelist? Yep. What are you guys doing with that? And let's take it away.
Yeah, so kind of actually perfect segue. It ties right back into the first conversation and what Printing United is, right? It's when SGIA and NAPCO Media and PIA all came together. And NAPCO Media is a very well-respected media company. It has multiple vertical brands. It was 50-year-olds. I'm probably getting this wrong, but it was well-established professional media company, and it had printing impressions, wide format impressions, packaging impressions, this whole slew of media suite. But we were missing something for apparel. And so when I came over, a lot of smart people had actually done a lot of homework. And on our team kind of looked at where we were, and they just let us jump right into the conversation. And it seemed right? The idea was, what's missing in the market? There's so much good content and good information in this industry out there. Where's the white space? What do people need? And it seemed that it was more how to run your business and things like that. Like, hey, I know how to print, and a few technical stuff and keeping up with what's going on would be great. But I need more examples on the business side of things, because that's not me. That's not what I did. So that's kind of our main kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
I've written 5 articles already.
Yeah, and it's been a blast. We launched it in January. The response has been great. So long story short, it's our conduit to speak to the community from the Alliance. But it's a resource place. It's also we just announced our Apparel Decoration Summit. It's going to be in Nashville next June. That's an Apparelist branded thing.
Do you have a date? Do you have a date for that?
Yeah, it's June 12th to the 14th. It'll be at the Lowe's, and you can check out apparelist.com. There's information. It's a hosted buyer event is what we call it. So it's very controlled, but it's going to change every year. Who's there every year changes. So it's not big trade show. It's think more business development. So that's kind of our goal, but you can find more information about it there. But yeah, so the Apparelist is our inner alliance apparel identity. Mm-hmm. I just made that up, if that makes sense. But that's basically who we are, what we're doing. You just made it up on the fly? That's awesome. Yeah. And Cassie Green is our EIC over there, and she has it's been such a pleasure to be working with her. We work very closely, but it's like I'll send an email and she'll finish it. It's like the digital version of finishing each other's sentences. We've been on the same page. So is she your work wife? Is that the deal? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. I guess I need to figure that out. She's absolutely awesome. I can't say enough. It's hard coming in, and there's 4 of us, between myself, Cassie, Sarah Payne and Lee Wright, and that we're focused on apparel. And I think we've done a lot in the first year and heading things in the right direction to ensure we always have a home for this community within the printing industry as a whole. It's too foundational of an element. Mm-hmm. And it was going too far the other direction, and we needed to come back, to north. Yeah. Great. Yep. Cool. All right. Well, that's awesome. You timed it perfectly. So it's the top of the hour, and this is right. Yeah, I got one of those downstairs. That's the other thing with the membership, Printing United is an association. We are a membership. There's tons of benefits. Come to the show. I will tell you about them just as passionately.
Yeah. And if anybody has any questions or anything, Josh, how can they get a hold of you?
The best way would probably be email is jcarruth, that's JCARRUTH @printing.org.
Great. All right. Well, hey, thank you for your time today. Appreciate everybody showing up. Really looking forward to seeing you guys in Vegas. I know it's going to be such a blast, and I can't wait. Alan and I are going to be recording some stuff in the podcast zone. What do you call that thing?
It's the Apparel Zone. We have a podcast booth in the Apparel Zone.
Yeah, so we're going to be checking out some technology, and hopefully their awesome team can make us sound and look better than we actually do. So
absolutely, they can do that. They're hired forever. And Marshall, we've got to decide, because Friday, I just realized you and I are both flying Friday, so we're going to have to figure out something.
What do you mean?
Well, we do a
show. So for that show, we're going to have to do we're going to do it earlier in the week. So
okay, good.
Yeah, so the Friday at Printing United, I am traveling to Florida to my 40th high school reunion. So, man, it goes by quick. Let me tell you.
Where in Florida? I mean, was it damaged by Ian, or is everything okay?
No, we're in North Florida. I've seen my share of hurricanes. I know exactly what they're going through. I've got a big heart all about that. By the way, let's reshare.
Yeah, definitely.
The Hurricane Ian Fund that the Shirt Show is putting together. This is a great GoFundMe. I've already donated to it. You guys should do it. So we've got a lot of people in our industry that have been impacted by this.
Yep.
And I really love seeing our community come together and help each other out. So please donate, help if you can. If you know shops down there, find out if maybe you could print a job or two for them, whatever, right? Exactly. So this is such a great industry, and I'm really proud of the fact that we come together and help each other out. So,
and you know what? We do that, and it's not just during catastrophes. It is, all the time. Look at what Printing United is doing with the vets on that. This is about giving back. Skillsusa is about giving back. And that's the community of the industry. And when you come to a show and meet people, it's community. It's a huge thing.
Yeah. Well,
whether it's
well said.
Printing Expo, whether it's Shirt Lab, yeah.
So here is my good friend Nancy, who, by the way, is the best color separator in the business. She worked for me for a number of years, and
sorry, Gavin.
She is just awesome. So I can't believe she's watching our show. So thank you for watching, Nancy. So these are people like that watch and never comment, right? So thank you for being on here. Appreciate you, and would love to catch up. So
and just so people know, again, share this, and you can find us if people need to see it. We're on YouTube. The repeats and stuff, and then the audio is on all the podcasts on there. Make sure you share it, because we will have, I don't know if everybody knows that are on here, we'll have 15 to 30 people that will comment on here. In a week, we will have anywhere from 400 to 2,000 views, and it's incredible.
Crazy. Yeah.
Here's one that was just lurking. John out of go ahead.
All right. I am doing the controls. You talk.
Go ahead. John from Black Dog in Richmond, Indiana. So awesome. Yeah. Marshall and I were hitting the button at the same time. He has controls right now.
So also, Richard has a comment here real quick. Is not much screen print in the Printing United Journal. How can we get more screen printing stuff in that magazine, Josh? What can we do about that? Anything?
Just froze.
Josh just froze. Did you see?
Nope. Back.
He's back.
All right. Yeah. We missed you.
Okay. What I missed?
So Richard wants to know how can we get more screen printing stuff into the journal?
Hey, we're supposed to have every segment should have one article in the journal, as I understand it. It's a quarterly journal that we put out. Yeah, I can inquire to that. If there wasn't, I thought I saw some stuff in there this time, but
there is, Richard. I haven't read the article, but I was perusing through it, and my goal this weekend is to read it. It's on the electronic printing side of it, on screen printing, on the ink. So at the show at Printing Expo, this is another segment of
functional printing. I learned functional printing. I learned that one. That's like printing the
functional, yeah.
Yeah, so printing the speedometers on cars.
Yeah, we've had Ray Greenwood on and stuff, and we have actually talked about that because, Josh, you and I need to talk, and maybe with Ray, because the apparel side and the functional side is actually starting to converge and meet up. And that is something coming down. When you think of sensor technology and medical and all that, that's all on fabric printed. And
printed electronic wearables. Yeah.
And electronic printers don't know how to do it because, wait, this is soft. This moves. It's always on rigid.
That's a session right there. That should be a session, that discussion and how that happens.
Let's get set for next year.
You're in charge, dude.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah. And Josh, this is all Academy stuff. Come on, baby. You got the resources. So,
All right.
All right, man.
Hey, so we're a little over, so you got to be respectful of people's time. Yep. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. And we'll hopefully see you guys in Vegas, and we will talk to you next week.
Have a great one, everybody.
Thanks, Josh.
See you guys.
Don't go away, Josh.